Welcome to the Mucked Up My Self-Care podcast.
I'm Jill from New York.
And I'm Linda from Tasmania.
We are two moms from opposite sides of the world who are living, demonstrating, and helping moms across the world build their self-care asset bank.
Ready to dive in? Messy, interrupted, imperfect, and most of all mucked up. Let's get going. Good morning.
Hi.
We are recording. Just a pause, delay, like, oh, yes.
Yeah, I try to give it time, and it's like, okay, we're going to still think on this side, so I don't know when it ever starts for everybody.
Anyway, yes, another week.
Yes.
Another day. So let's start where we always do. Highs, lows. I believe you have a few.
Okay. Let's see. Highs and lows. We're going to start with lows. I'm exhausted. I'm just freaking exhausted. Everything has turned into I am tired. I'm ready for bed by 8 o'clock every night, and then waking up at ungodly hours because I went to bed so early. Just exhausted. I need naps like every day, it feels like. And I think that's one of the positives about being home with Declan for the summer and not having all this work is being able to take a nap with him more frequently. So the only saving grace for the summer right now is nap time.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. My high, so we just celebrated Declan's 4th birthday, and it was so much fun. His party was so much fun. His actual birthday was a lot of fun. I know I complained about it for like 2 months beforehand where he transitions into his age. And I think the transition kind of like was solidified a few weeks before his birthday. But even now, like just the last couple of days around his birthday have even had some more changes in him. And such a grown up little boy. I can't wrap my mind around it still. So it's just such I'm still living in that vibe. Yeah, so just all the fun from that.
Yeah.
What about high lows for you, Linda?
I think for me, a low would be a bit like you. I'm just feeling pretty ran down, like you said, ready for bed really early, like when I'm putting Quinn to sleep at 7:30, 7 o'clock. I fall asleep sometimes, and then like tonight I'm back here recording, which will keep me going now. So I've had this little mini nap, and just seems like I could be much better at my sleep. I feel like that's the next demon to fight, because it will be a fight for me. And of course you can't do them all at once because yes, I feel like I've got a bit more of a handle on the fitness and that sort of thing, and next will be sleep. And so wish me luck anyway. And a high for me is I did a best in the gym last week. Had a really great session. I almost wasn't able to make it, and then ended up making it and doing a lot of really great stuff, really great work. So ended up lifting 258 pounds.
That's impressive.
115 kilos.
Wow. I'm impressed.
Yeah. And that was after pushing 150 on the sled. So I'm not sure what the conversion on that one is. So that would be 330 on the sled push 3 times, as well as a lot of stuff on the bike and jumps and sprints, and yes, just a very full-on workout, but worth it to get to that 115 kilos. Yeah, definitely worth it. Yeah.
So impressive.
Something very empowering about lifting heavy stuff. For
Yeah.
women, I think especially. Yep, very empowering. So,
Very
yes,
cool.
I will keep going with that, but that's definitely something to celebrate.
Yeah, it sure
Um,
is.
and I think it would be good to just come back to celebrations for us in things like our self-care. We've got International Self-Care Day coming up on July the 24th, I believe, as well. So I I don't know if we've planned anything. We should plan something together for that day, I think.
Oh, we should.
Mm. So yeah, that's quite exciting too.
But ends up being a Thursday. Is that right?
Thursday, is it?
Is it? Hold on, let me.
Goodness. We're clearly very aware of what day it is and where we
Yeah.
are and who we are and
Oh, so Wednesday. Okay.
Mhm.
So Wednesday. Well, that's my usual date nights, and that'll be Thursday morning by the time it's there for you. So maybe we'll have to do early
Mm.
morning for me and late and that night for you then.
Yeah.
All right. We'll have to
Okay.
figure that out.
Report back in the next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So,
what kind of celebrations are you doing in self care? Like, what do you have that you're like, ooh, I should celebrate this more of?
um, well, some of that gym stuff is definitely up there. And I think sometimes the celebration is in the doing of the self-care. So for me, the action or going to the gym itself is the celebration, if
Mm,
you like. It is a way to celebrate, is to commit to myself by turning up consistently and continuing to turn up and just knowing that I am getting stronger and fitter. And that's really the best way I can celebrate that. It sounds a bit nuanced maybe, but yeah, it is. That's part of how I celebrate, is by continuing to do the things that I enjoy. Mm. What about for you? What does celebration in self-care look like?
I think it's in for me, it's doing something that might just be a little bit different than what I'm usually doing.
Mhm.
I think my example of something that I've done recently is a bouquet workshop that I did with my girlfriend who has a flower shop. I accidentally did not realize that it was booked on Declan's birthday, and I did not change my plans, and I still went because I
Whoa.
realized that it actually killed two birds with one stone. So I started the Mama Outspoken Village in June, and I did not
Mhm.
celebrate it, and I was reprimanded, like, you got to celebrate those big milestones. And I was like, oh, right, I totally forgot. So that was one thing that I was like, okay, well, we can attribute this bouquet workshop to celebrating the village. And then I realized actually that no, I was celebrating my birthing day by going to this workshop. Like, it's
Yeah.
Declan's birthday, yeah, but I'm also celebrating what I went through to birth him. And so that's
Mm.
my little thing. I came home with a beautiful flower arrangement that I did myself to celebrate us. And of course, Declan's like, oh, mommy, you made that for me. And it was like, I guess kind of, but it's really for me, dude. But
It's not all to do with you today.
so I guess it's those little things that I try to do that's just a little bit more special than my usual go walk outside and do
Mm.
some grounding or go to church. So those little
Mm.
things that I'm like, we're going to spend a little bit more, whether it be a little bit more money or a little bit more effort to put myself together. Maybe it's this more special date night where I get dolled up, or as a night out with my sister. Those are kind of more of those I guess just a little bit of effort for me in the celebration part to like have more than just something I'm trying to fill my energy back with and
Mm, mm.
celebrating my.
Yeah. I just had a quick look on Google and just love this little line sentence here that says, "What makes a celebration a celebration?" And it says, "A celebration calls attention to the honor a person or things has gained from their important actions or positive traits."
Ooh,
I
I like that.
really like that. Yeah.
So true.
So just honoring and celebrating, if you like, the important events in our lives or positivity or achievements or things like that. So yeah, I feel like that's what we do each time we record this podcast
Yeah.
is but let's flip that for a minute when we perhaps muck up self-care, because that is the name of the podcast, and we don't feel like celebrating at all. We're just swirling in the muck of, "Oh, why couldn't this be better or easier or different, or that wasn't the way I planned it," or anything like that. So, um, yeah, when we're in that mucked up self-care mode and there isn't a reason to celebrate, what do you think we can do?
Ooh, and I'm even going to throw this one in because I think we can get caught up in the busy.
Mm,
So we have the time to
mhm,
have self care or even celebrate anything that's just happened outside of the celebrating. And my last couple of weeks are the example of that, that I have not had the
mhm,
time to slow down to celebrate
mhm,
the things that have happened or even just to throw in self care,
mhm,
meaningful self care into the mix of things. And um, I'm gonna say history for me. I ride it out until I have a little bit of a break, and most times that comes by something that's forced, and that
mhm,
might be a melty crash, or it might be a vacation that we're running up to. And I'll say that because in 3 weeks we are going on vacation. So for me right now, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna wait until vacation, and that will be my next time to do the self care stuff, like real good self care. Um,
mhm, mhm,
that's not the best way to do it. I think that's like my cop out. So as we're practicing the self care and like really trying to live up to what we do say on the podcast and the way that we practice it, and now that we know our own versions of the definitions of self care for us and what it means for us, I think it would make more sense for me to take that time out and really reflect on where can I put it in for this week, even if it is just my usual go-to of going to go pick up the dog poop in the backyard. And I've been trying to get that in every single day this past week and really just connecting with the earth, because it is the simplest thing for me. And it comes back to the list that we've come up with of those practical, simple things that we might not have thought about when we were deep dark into not knowing how to do self-care for ourselves,
mhm,
and
mhm,
throwing those into what can I just go do real quick just to feel a little bit better or to get away from the loud of what life is right now. And it tends to just be
mhm, mhm. I just yeah, I know you've just literally just mentioned the loud of life, and now I have Declan running in being really, really loud. I find that really funny, a little bit funny. I just I guess you wouldn't necessarily be thinking at the time, "Oh, I'm picking up dog poop. What a celebration this is." And, "Oh, aren't I good for celebrating myself in this moment?" And that sort of thing. So I wonder how much we need to make conscious celebrations sometimes rather than just continuing on to the next day and the next self-care, because I have many examples where I haven't stopped to celebrate or haven't celebrated for lots of different reasons. Maybe it's a financial stress or a time stress or just hasn't been taken into the picture. And so I think there needs to be a little bit of conscious effort made. And like you were saying, you know that that is important to you, but you still need to make effort to do it. I think celebrations are a bit the same way.
I, as you're saying that, I keep coming up with, I know you do this with your boys and Siggy, but I started doing it with Declan, and he absolutely loves it now and asks for it every night along with our prayers. But telling a story about the day, and
Favorite part of the day, yeah.
And I think for him, Declan, he's found that to be a way of celebrating how the day went. And it's become a little bit more fun as I get better at telling the story and like trying to remember all that's happened during the day. But it helps me to now almost celebrate with him that we did all these things today. Wasn't this fun? I don't know if that's filling up any cups for me, but it is a small.
It's also gratitude. It's a gratitude. It's a memory function. It's a brain. It's listening skills. It's so many things.
So I think that that's one little thing that is being added every day now to celebrate what we've done. So
yeah, I love it so much, and getting them all involved. And even just tonight, so a few hours ago, I actually thought, oh gosh, because I've just had a bit of a mediocre day. It's just been a bit ho-hum. I've been quite tired, just doing the basics pretty much. Got a bit of time to myself, but I had to actually think pretty hard about what my favorite part of the day was. So I actually had to skip over me, and I'm like, then come back and listen to everyone else's first, and then be like, because it can be quite hard to think, but even if you've had a mediocre day, even if you've had a mucked up day, even if you've had a really shitty argument or something else has happened, you can find a good moment in every day, I believe.
Yeah, which is why I think it works for us and our families to do the highs and lows, because we've said it before, like it gives us the opportunity to realize, well, yeah, I might have had a crap day, but there was some glimmer of light in that. And even if it's this thing like you did take a shower or you know,
well,
brush your hair.
That was actually my favorite part of the day. I had a shower with Siggy and washed her hair with shampoo because it had food all through it, like Weet-Bix and and I actually was able to wash her hair, and she loved it. And no shampoo in the eyes, nothing else, and it was so soft and curly, and just that was actually my favorite part of the day. So simple, but really powerful. So yeah. Yeah. When we're talking and thinking about celebrations, do they always need to be flamboyant and big and expensive and everything like that?
I don't think so. And our friend Kim, she suggests always celebrating these big things that we do in our business and in life. So it could be as simple as, I think, taking a picture of ourselves in that moment, so that way we can remember how we were feeling, what we were feeling when we did that thing. And that's something that doesn't need to be extravagant. Very simple. Just take a picture on your phone of yourself. Selfie. Here it is. The next step would be like, maybe you frame that picture and you put it someplace special. You're add it to a vision board or your cork board, just someplace near you. So, it's not a big to do either. And then you can have something as big as, going to a bouquet workshop where, that's going to be a little bit more, a little bit more extravagant, because you have to shell out some financial for it and something. So I think whatever we're needing in the moment of what we're celebrating, or even where our cup might be a little bit more empty and how much we need to fill ourselves up with that excitement, might be going to dictate how we celebrate ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. What are your
I'm
thoughts?
just I'm just thinking about the times when I've been really, really rock bottom, like so very rock bottom, like the P&D is wild, the rage is fresh, like everything feels hard. And in those moments, I know that I've had to literally sometimes just celebrate picking up a fork to eat. I've had to try to get through the really most basic, simple stuff because I'm literally just hanging on by a thread. And that's difficult,
I
to say
think,
the least.
yeah, I think in those moments that I've had in similar times is it ended up being I wrote in my journal, I did this, and with an exclamation point underlined on a single page, just allowed that single thing that I accomplished to be solidarity on its own there. And
Yeah.
for me, that's worked in a way. And then the other thing is, sharing it with someone so that they can validate it. Whether it be my husband at the time, like, I actually got to do this. And I'm like, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you got to do this. Getting that little bit of a shared, like, congratulations, I think can help when we are in those moments as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But we hope that you are all celebrating in many different ways for little moments of self-care. And I think it's important for us to think about as well, even after going and continuing on this journey of self-care. we still do need to stop and celebrate. And so we're also learning at the same time.
And I wonder if one way that we can recommend celebrating right now is doing highs and lows.
That's amazing. Yeah.
With your family or with a friend on a consistent basis to celebrate that one really awesome day, and one awesome thing, and one kind of crappy thing.
Yeah, definitely. And if you don't have that opportunity, maybe it's just writing it down. Just writing it down for yourself. High and low. Sometimes I've looked back on it in a month and be like, oh yeah, that little moment. Yes, back there. I thought that was so huge at the time, and here I am now. So I think that's another way that you can do it as well. So yes, thank you, Jill, with Spider-Man in your face.
Well, then I guess until next week, Linda.
Yeah, we do hope you can unstuck your muck. Bye for now.
Bye.